Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
It's October, autumn.
Yeah,
Welcome to Shanghai Tripod.
in October.
in
Eh,
October.
Yeah, yeah. This is the first time recording October.
It's 18
And
degrees Celsius outside.
Mhm.
I don't know. You
I'm
sound like a
sorry,
weather woman.
audience. Men just can't stop talking. Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
So we have two men here, Jacob and uh,
Babuji.
Babuji, our Indian friend.
So mean.
Yeah. Today we're gonna talk about Chinese family relationships.
yeah.
I think Babuji, you can ask us some questions. If you are
And
not aware of Chinese family relationships, please feel free.
I'm very
But I know
curious.
you are very aware, so you're very knowledgeable because you're a man. So I would like to ask,
Nice. We're
I
on
would
the road
ask
today.
Jacob.
Yeah.
So let's start with this question.
Since it's not a man.
How would you describe your family?
Oh, very. How would I describe my family?
Yeah.
That's a huge topic.
Yes.
Do you mind to narrow it down? Like, I thought we're gonna talk about family relationship. Then I hear like it's the Chinese family relationship. So I guess Chinese family relationship is just family relationship with smaller eyes.
Yeah, small eyes can cause a lot of problems.
True,
So
true, true.
that's what makes Chinese families different from foreign families.
Things
Speaking of which, let me find like let me make it sounds correct. Is that my family always teaches me to uh, in Mandarin it's called 有眼力劲儿
Mm,
means like you know how to read the room. Speaking of eye sizes, so we always have to you know read the air of all the surroundings and environment. Right? Try to please the elders, the parents.
okay. Okay, I think before we get like deeper into this topic,
Yeah, let's kill the
all the
dogs.
dogs.
Yeah.
Let's I just give
Yay! Dinner plan.
one example of a Chinese, like just describe my family. So just to give a very generic idea of what it is like. So uh, uh, I would say my family is this, how do you say, nuclear family.
oh,
With when I was born into this family of two people, my parents,
hmm
and I was the only child.
the third wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So after I grew up, I somehow leave the family and
hmm
then get independent.
Yeah.
And
As we should. Yeah.
even though I live with my parents right now, but most of the time I don't live with them.
Right.
I think that is a typical Chinese family today.
So living in the basement is your choice.
We don't have a basement because we don't have a house.
Roof, roof.
Proof.
Yeah,
All right, all right.
yeah. So, like my parents left like their respective houses, home families, when they turned 25, when
Mm.
they got their first job.
Right.
Yeah, but my parents, they stayed with the bigger family.
Mm.
How do you call that family?
Joint family.
Yeah, joint family. Like that's more like the old Chinese society where the entire big family lived together in the same village.
Very similar to human caterpillar. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so live with the older generations. But now after my like since say 40 years ago, people just started like separating from the joint families and they formed their own nuclear families.
Mm.
Yeah, this was like, and because of one child policy, so in the past, it's no longer there anymore. So people have only one kid.
Yeah, Donggu and I are the same generation, which like the families are affected by the one-child policy, the population control.
Yeah,
So most of us are just single child.
yeah. I think that changes a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that it really changed anything for you? I personally feel
Mhm.
that being a single kid probably is more advantageous for you guys, financially at least?
Well, yeah, I don't have to fight with siblings for the heritage. For the
Emotionally, you might not have like same
A
kind of
strong build, and
but
we like the training.
yeah, but I think financially it's more beneficial, no?
I agree. Yes.
yeah, agree. But also there's more burden. You have to. Yeah, I think legally you also have to take care of your parents, right? Like responsible for taking care of your parents when they are not able to work or they're not able to take care of themselves.
Yeah, legally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Asian families generally tend to be more focused on taking care of their elders, right? Like, they're not just their philosophy. Forget about legal binding or not. The philosophy of overall Asian, not just
Yeah, that's why they put that into law.
yeah. It's that you don't really abandon your parents as soon as, even if you're not living with them, even if you have your independent life, you tend to always be attached to the family in one way or other, right? Is it similar in China?
Yes.
I think especially in China.
There is this word called moral abduction, right? 道德绑架.
Guilt trip.
Which guilt trip, yeah. So if a kid doesn't want to live with the parents, or they don't want to obey the parents, and the parents would do drama or like say these like things about this like moral things to make you feel guilty.
Yeah, so in comparison, the Chinese parents are a little bit more childish than the parents. Like.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, actually, you just reminded me that there is this concept as mama's boy. Right? I guess that's in Western culture also. So it's very, very common here.
Especially in Shanghai.
Especially in Shanghai. Shanghai, I guess women are more dominant. So no matter a kids here, like no matter a female, male, no matter how old they are, they're always like controlled by their mother. Like even like I have a friend recently going through a divorce, and that divorce is like controlled by her mother also. Like she herself is a mother of a 4-year-old kid, but like her and her husband and financially, so things are all like still dominated by their parents, the people who are in their 60s now.
Yeah, but
nothing to do but dramas.
Yeah, but if you think about that, it's actually a good thing, right? Like having somebody to advise you. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate, and just thinking about like a lot of Western society family structures are more about you being self-centered, you being independent, and you have to do everything on your own.
Yeah.
And having like a strong family support system helps you get through a lot of problems, not just emotional and probably like moral issues and emotional issues, but also financial and fiscal issues, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to worry about, like, this is one of the very unique case which I realized when I came to China, especially in Shanghai, that parents prepare a house for you, which is not true at all when it comes to Western society, except like maybe some really rich people who might prepare houses for their kids. But especially in middle class society in Western civilization, they don't really care about your kids. How do you get your own house? And also it's more like you figure out. They might help you, but they will not prepare a house for you.
Yeah, it's not in their list. Not on their list of.
Yeah, but in China, I think more or less every family prepares a house for the daughter or the son, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you are a single kid, you automatically get a lot of houses.
Yeah, it's kind of like weird because a lot of like kids, not kids, like younger people in my generation, around 30s, they're like by default they think their parents are responsible for getting a house for them upon their marriage.
And the cars and the marriage money.
Yeah, they would like some of them even blame the parents for not preparing a house for them to get married. Like that's like very, very, very weird, but it's very common also.
I kind of think it's maybe I'm being very much on the parallel tangent, but I think it's parents' responsibility. If you are giving birth to a kid, it's a parent's responsibility to make sure that you take care of the kid till the time they get married and stuff like that. Because especially in China, thanks to one child policy, what has happened is that you don't really have options. So if you don't take care of the kids, I know it might not happen that morally you're not obliged to kind of pay back to the parents, but if you don't take care of the kids, they might not take care of you. Right. So it is important, that aspect. I feel that, but of course there is a limit. You don't expect them to pay for the house. If they don't have the money, they can't do it. But if they have the money and they don't buy a house for you, I feel it's wrong. What the fuck are they do with the money?
True.
Right. Yeah, this is why Jacob's mother is still suffering.
Yeah, but that's true.
What? Why? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have a cousin who's like 33 now, 33, and
Is 33?
30. She's 30 years old, and she's married to a man who's also from Shanghai, and they have they had a baby like 2-3 years ago, and it's completely arranged by my mom and the guy's mom because they are friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they make that kid. After they made baby, the grandmother takes care of the baby since the baby was born for 2 years, and the grandmother lives with them, and just basically everything. The grandmother is like the mother for the kid, and the parents they don't do anything. Like so it just looks like that the grandmother can't leave the baby, and the baby's parents are not existing. So the grandmother is so busy, like 24/7. She has to plan everything for the baby and her own kids, her own son and the daughter-in-law.
I think she deserves it. She deserves to suffer because she forced her kids to have kids.
So exactly, I agree.
I'm sorry, I'm making it sound like a very a negative side of it, but I feel that she failed to bring up a good kid. Fact that her kid is not responsible for his own kid basically means that she raised a stupid kid.
Yeah.
And since she raised a stupid kid, she should be responsible for stupid kid's kid also.
But she kind of wants it.
Yeah, so again, she's getting what she's for. So she can't complain.
I know that if like my mom also I asked her why can she not just let it go? Why shouldn't it just leave the baby to the parents? She's like she can't do that. She just feel like empty. Like her whole life is on that baby. If she doesn't take care of the baby, she probably just like worse than dying because she can't do anything else.
That is the mentality for a lot of Asian parents, like because they did not have their own ideas of what they want to become.
Yeah.
Yet they always do what's been told that they have to do. So all these obligations became just what they are used to do without knowing they're like optional obligations, or it just became their life. So besides that, they do not have anything else to do, and they like even if they don't have the kid, or like the kid has a very good nanny, or say goes overseas, or like a boarding school, they will still find something else to obligate themselves, so they seem busy, so they don't have to face themselves, the emptiness of not knowing who they are.
Yeah, they don't have their own life, so it's kind of like they deserve it.
Yeah, if the kids are away, then the parents will probably tell the dad and mom like, oh, try get divorced, I want to work on something. They're gonna create problems to solve it. That's what I feel.
Is that brings to an interesting question about how does the whole divorce thing happen in China? Is it like because you were mentioning Dongo about one of your friends who's getting divorced now, and then she seems to be a pretty young person. At the same time, I have heard stories of people who have stuck in a marriage because so-called reason of kids, or they don't have any options and stuff like that, even if they are in a very troubled marriage. Divorce seems to be a very tabooed and a complicated subject in China,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a taboo, but I didn't know it's still a taboo today. Because divorce is so common right now, but still is difficult for a lot of people. I think when I was young, so my dad has had few friends who had affairs. Almost all his friends, men. And so when their wives
Affair with man or
affair with woman, I don't know about, like, maybe there's also gay affair. I did not know, but when their wives found out their husbands are having affair, then the wife just go, they just went like,
that shit crazy.
Yeah, just crazy, and they can't accept it. But it also, as a kid, it was very weird to me that why did they not get a divorce? I mean, for my parents and their generation, they believe that divorce is a very, very bad thing for their faith, and financially they are also dependent on the husband. But still, the excuse they use is always for the kid. The kid needed a complete family, so they cannot get a divorce. So all of these my dad's friends who went through this drama of affair and divorce and cry and all that, they just ended up being together again. And yeah.
Would that happen in today's world?
I thought it would not happen in today's world, because back then as a kid, I thought that, like, for the kid to have a complete family, that excuse is just bullshit. Because as a kid, I knew that it doesn't work that way. But today, when my friend is going through this divorce, and she is using this like 4-year-old kid as the excuse again, and I could not understand why she's like doing this. Maybe because women are like weak.
But she's financially independent.
She is financially independent, yes. So it's maybe like for the face, like it won't look good. A divorce won't look good to outsiders, and they still
the reputation and all.
Yeah, and maybe some emotional connection also. Today's, I think, is still. You think so? It's still a taboo today. What do you say, Jacob?
Yes, for Asian family, for Chinese families, it is a taboo, yet it is very common. And I feel. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel that right now, currently, the people who are getting married mostly think about their financial independence, but not emotional independence, or like, IQ wise, I don't know what's the word, just intellectual independence. Like, yeah, they tend to ignore that. So they're like, to me, they're still giant babies. They do not know what life is, or living, or surviving. Like, they did not experience most of the high and lows in this protective family formula. So they tend to think less, even if they want to think more. They have not experienced that. They did not speak to themselves about what they really want or what they really need. They see, like, a potential, like a partner, then they ignore all the hardcore problems, or like the obstacles they may encounter, but try to see the brighter side. But then they often miscalculate, and shit hits the fan, right?
Yeah.
So
I kind of agree with this aspect. One of the important aspects which you pointed out, which I've seen with a lot of other people, not just in China but around the world, is that especially if you're born in a very protective family, a family which is like always taking care of you, and taking care of all the responsibilities for you, whether it's financial or whether it's emotional support and,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like guarding you from the world, like protecting you in a very negative way, not in a very positive way. You end up not knowing how to handle situations firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get married, this is kind of the first experience for most of them to handle situations firsthand, like whether it's emotional relationship or complications in fiscal responsibility, complications in maybe some issues with sexual relationship with your partner. All of this, like, or even world issues, like social issues and stuff. This is the first time they are kind of like told to handle it first time. Like it's first hand. Oh, I don't know how to handle it. So divorce becomes such a huge like a barrier, which they've not even, they probably, as you mentioned, this could be the big problem they've ever, like the first big problem they will face in their lives. And they tend to hope that other people can help them. So that's why they go to parents, I guess, like, in your friend's case, the reason she's reaching out to family, to friends, she reached out to you, she reaches out to quite a few people she knows, is because maybe she doesn't know how to handle it. Like, it genuinely doesn't know how to handle emotionally stressful situation or a financially stressful situation. Because especially people who live in Shanghai, in our age bracket, might never have faced a financial problem, like the real financial. I'm not talking about, oh, I did not have money to buy an iPhone. That's not a financial problem, I don't have money to buy a phone is a financial problem. So the difference is just I. Anyway, so I think it's important.
Nice.
Sorry, slow reaction.
So I feel that somewhere that lack of awareness of problems or lack of experience kind of makes them giant babies in a very interesting way. That they don't know how to handle. And the worst situation is when the parents before them also come from a protective environment. So you have two generations of people who don't know how to handle a problem at all, who've never faced a problem. So then it will become even bigger, a murkier situation. So like in this, in the friend's case, I guess the parent doesn't want to take care, the grandparents don't want to take care of the grandkids also because they don't want responsibility. The parents themselves also don't want to take care of the kids because they don't want responsibility. So you're always pushing the envelope of responsibility from one desk to another.
So yes. So we're talking about divorce here, right? But I think at the first place, like the young people today, the reason they get married is also kind of ridiculous.
Like Jacob.
I heard like so many times that I ask people why they get divorced. Get married, right? Or they say, oh, because it's time. My parents asked me to. And also, most importantly, when I asked them, why do you make babies?
Oh yeah, that is ridiculous.
It's almost all of them. It's my parents want. They're killing me. They just want a grandkid. I mean, this is just, I get very angry when I hear these answers. Are you even human beings? Just do something, be responsible. You're making a human being. You're not just like shitting in your pants.
Like me.
Say it's similar. Just pops up.
Yeah, you should be responsible because you're creating a human being. You should know what you're doing. And they just simply push this responsibility onto their parents. Isn't that ridiculous? But this is so many people, almost everybody, when I ask them, this is the answer they give me.
Even if the people knows like they want a baby, they will still in casual conversations will just easily toss it to the parents because like in Chinese conversations, I find out like most of the people doesn't really want to express like, oh, I want to experience this, or like I feel like I want to have a baby, or things like that are very embarrassing to say.
Oh, that's an interesting.
Why is that embarrassing?
I did not know that. Interesting.
Just talk about their own feelings and what they really want and what they really dislike. But
Oh yeah.
we will always spin in circles, try to, make the people guess what we're trying to say, but we
Oh
don't
yeah.
say
I've
that,
seen this with a lot of Chinese family
right?
members, right? They don't really share what they feel like.
Yeah.
But that's like not just Chinese families, but in generally,
Mm.
most of the Asian people have like this, elephant tooth,
Yeah.
one for eating and one for showing. So
Mhm.
you always have this two persona constantly. And
Yeah.
I think that's what they do with their family members also, as in a lot of family members tend to pretend to be happy or pretend to be unhappy, but they are actually happy or unhappy, so yeah, maybe there is some water in your uh, conversation. There's some weight to the conversation about people not being comfortable sharing. They really want to have a kids and just say, oh, just because my parents want it, or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
But of course, having said that, if you are having a kid, you should be
Mhm.
responsible. As in, you should be responsible uh, to that extent that you know that for next 18 years or so, because
Mhm.
kid, just going by a random number of 18 years of age,
Yeah.
you need to know that you can financially, emotionally, kind of like socially support the kid. Of course,
Yeah.
after 18, he's an adult, at least legally. You don't really need to do a lot of things after 18, but till 18, you need to make sure that his upbringing or her
Yeah.
upbringing is going to be,
Well-being and survival,
yeah, well-being and survival
safety.
has to be the responsibility of the parents. Of course, grandparents can chip in,
Yeah.
but at a primary level, if you are not responsible, then you should think before coming inside.
Yeah.
But
Huh. Huh. I like that. Think before coming inside, huh? Nice.
yeah. Yeah, but one benefit of this one child policy is that you can, like, the younger generation can simply take over all the resources, all the asset the older generations have.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes it easier to like raise kid. Like, say, like my friend, she can take up all her and her husband can take up all the asset money their parents, the four of them, accumulated throughout their life, and then they're raising one kid. So that kid is using the resource of 4 + 2, 6 people.
Mm.
That makes life easier because now it's very expensive to to live in Shanghai or in China. I think in a lot
Yeah.
of cities.
yeah, but see, especially in the case of your friend, since we're talking about it without disclosing the details, the reality is that they are facing a fiscal problem because one set of their parents are not rich or
Mm.
not wealthy enough, and they
Yes.
don't have enough resources. So it sounds very classist, but maybe uh, by the logic which you are defining, which basically means that poor people should not have kids.
Yeah.
Um, that's why
Or
people
poor
not
people
making.
should not force their kids to live like a high-class life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why, like China recent 2 years is having the worst birth rate.
Mm.
It's almost like as low as South Korea.
Mm.
It's
But
about like 1.4.
yeah,
Like the like woman in how do you say birth age?
yeah,
Mm.
birthing age.
Birthing age. Like to keep the society like sustainable.
Mm.
You should the birth rate should be 2.2. But China is getting like really low recent few years.
But
But
that's just numbers.
yeah, but I feel that happens because I think this is globally, right? It's not just in China. More people get educated, and more people, especially women, when they get educated and people become richer, they tend to make less babies.
Mm.
So it's like a reverse thing, People will get more educated, people get more informed, people become more independent financially, emotionally, and in a lot of aspects, they tend to not make kids. But most of the lower strata of the society, they don't tend to think that way. They think it like China right now. It's becoming a so-called from developing nation. It's moving slowly to the developed nation aspect. So the birth rate is going to reduce. People with money will not want to have maybe they will want to give one kid a good life rather than make two kids and have an average life. So yeah. But again, coming back to the original topic, how important it is that a family continues like in India, I'm just giving an example, the concept of legacy birth, which is basically means that I want a kid because I want my family's legacy to continue. This is so-called strong belief of legacy passing from one generation to another. How strong it is in China?
Oh, it's strong, especially in my area, like the Midwest.
It's a good question because I think men and women will have very different opinions on that.
Yeah.
At least from my perspective, it doesn't matter at all. I don't think I have a great gene I have to pass on to anybody. I have zero interest in reproduction. But I've heard a lot. I have heard a lot like similar opinions from women, but men.
Yeah.
That's like very interesting. I guess men somehow. Can you explain to me why are men so interested in passing on their gene, their blood?
Not sure about that, but the man is surely being pressured. Like I'm the single grandson of my dad's family. Like I'm the only one who carries the last name, so I was like people always tell me like start to have kids early and try to get more boys out so the family legacy can live on. That was my.
What is your family legacy?
Nothing. The last name, I guess.
That's very valuable, huh?
I don't know. Like my family actually is more of a mid higher class back in the day, so they do not say it that much. But even in joke terms, like in New Year gatherings and stuff, one or two like uncles or aunts will say that, But I've seen like a lot of my guy friend getting pressured of like having kids early. They actually have kids early, like during university and stuff, for the family last names.
Yeah, so I think that's legacy. Technically still means this family last name, right? In China,
yeah.
The name of the father's family.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's why they want
like
boys.
I had a ex-girlfriend who was negotiating with me with their family, like how about we have like at least 2 kids and one of the kid carries her last name. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, so I ran off. But anyway, yeah, there were families, even the girls, like some of the people take it very seriously.
Oh yeah, like in case of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Her daughter follows her mother's family name.
Right?
Because the father's family is poor.
Yeah. See? Oh yeah, I got a friend who works in Shanghai, and he got married to this like Shanghai super wealthy family, and they were asking him to name their the second baby's last name to the mother's, but then the first baby got aborted by like I don't know the medical 流产.
Miscarriage.
Yeah, miscarriage. So the family was like, oh, that counted as the first one, so the second one will follow our last name and shit. So that's how my friend got divorced, and till today we make fun of him.
This is interesting, right? Like your friend, assuming because he's your friend, he must be really stupid. But like it bothered him so much that he was willing to divorce because he could not give his 3-second effort a name.
Yeah.
He 3-second effort.
It is a 3-second.
It's a lot.
But so again, having said that, this whole legacy thing, does it affect like this is one of the common perceptions or questions like as an outsider I always have. Does it really matter even now whether you have a girl or a boy, and how the whole family dynamics gets affected if you are a boy or a girl? Is the upbringing different? And now since I have both a girl and a boy in front of me, I want to know, would it be different if you were a daughter in your family, Jacob, and Dongo, if you were a son in your family, would your upbringing be different? I know it's a
we both Jacob and I, we are one child, this single child.
right.
So
But imagine you were a boy,
Or I am a girl.
you are a girl.
I think it would be different.
Your upbringing would have been different.
I don't know about in my family because I was like brought up as a boy. So I guess if I was a boy, I would still like, be brought up as a boy.
Mm.
What about you, Jacob?
I also agree. Like I feel my life will be different, will be affected a lot. Like if I'm a girl, right? I would I think at least be more like my environment will be more dangerous to me. Like I would either be dead or like have a lot of kids by now, like being a drunk mom or something.
So being inner Mongolian,
Why would you be dead?
why would you be dead? I think this is a very like would you like say for example, forget about any other family. I'm just specifically talking about family. Would your mom be unhappy if you were a daughter?
Maybe she will be happier because she was still bragging about how she produced like the only grandson in my father's family. So if I'm also a girl, then she will be happier. Like she wouldn't pressure me so much. I mean, like this conversation
would be happier.
You would be happier. I think she would not be so happy because she seems to be, as in whatever you're saying, it makes it look as if she would have been not so proud.
Yeah, maybe I will have a brother, younger brother.
So yeah, so they prefer sons.
Yeah, just to show off.
Yeah, but how would it affect your upbringing?
I just feel like although we're trying to stay subjective to this matter, but since it's personal, I would say like if I'm a girl with this personality.
No, forget about your personality. I am not about your personality. As in that, this personality, you're not going anywhere, irrespective of what gender you are. But I'm saying that.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that from your family perspective. I'm not asking your own personal experience. Like I'm saying from like how would your parents or your relatives or your members of your family behaved with you if you were a girl, not your own individual experience, because that like I'm just trying to understand how would the family dynamics change if you were a girl.
Oh, I think I will be less spoiled, like me and my two older sister cousins will be spoiled equally than just I'm the grandson. So
yeah, since you mentioned you have two older cousins, what are they doing right?
They're both just getting married and living their life in Beijing.
Okay, so they got married. Did they get equal educational opportunities? Like
my big sister is like she's a tattoo artist and she graduated from like the Beijing Film School, so she's like top one of her class as like an animation artist. And the second one is in Tsinghua, and she now is a professor in Tsinghua. So they get better education than me.
Oh, but that's because it's just bad genes. Anyways, that's yeah. So maybe if you were a girl, they would have made you, because now I'm just trying to analyze the situation, right? You would have been less spoiled, right? You would probably be pressurized to get better education because intrinsically your parents would be worried about, I need to worry about my daughter's future. So let's at least have a better education. So you might be forced to have a better education. So you'll end up having better education so that you are financially independent. Just worst case scenario. Whereas as a guy, they will like, we want to spoil him. Who would that my analysis be right?
I think so. It's not always the case, because now we are all single child, right?
Right.
So in your nuclear family, you're the only child. So like you're spoiled anyways, no matter you're boy or girl, because you're the only option. So you get all the resources.
Right.
There's no comparison. You can't compare. Like if there are two kids, one boy and one girl in the family, you can see how they are treated differently. But since you're the only one in the family, so you don't really know how it could have been if you were a different gender.
Yeah.
But you can sense it, right? For example, you can sense from your parents' conversation whether they are misogynist or not.
Oh yeah, they are. Of course they are. They would tell you as a girl. They would tell a girl you should do this. A girl you should not do that.
Would they tell that to the boy?
Of course, because they're boys.
See, so this is exactly. I think
There
it
is
means that
difference.
there is still kind of like a subconscious effort to have a boy.
Yes.
Like this is also, would it I know that this is something which we can't know about it particularly.
Yeah.
You guys don't have siblings and all that stuff, so you don't know whether it'll be mistreated or not, or like you would have given an advantage over others or not. But how do relatives look at you? You know, like this is one thing which happens. This is purely from what happens in India in few years ago, right? What used to happen is that when you have a girl, right? Or the first kid is a girl, or the second kid is a girl, or third kid is a girl, like back to back, right? What happens is that your respect for that woman in the near family, which is basically cousins and relatives and brothers of the father, brothers of the mother, they tend to lower they look down on that person.
Yeah.
So your whole family dynamics changes because of that.
Yeah.
Does that happen in China?
Yeah, that's also quite.
Yeah, big way.
It's very common in village areas.
Right.
Daughter, if there are like boys and girls in the family, and the daughter will usually be considered as somebody who's gonna be an outsider in the future. So they're not really a part of the family, and the best resources are given to the brother. Yeah, the sister is supposed to take care of the brother.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be married, and she's gonna be a part of another family. So there's just consider the son as the person who is like and will always be a part of their family and pass on the bloodline.
I have like a friend family. Their family has like a bigger sister, second sister, and third sister. And in the middle, they give the second sister away to like some distant relatives just because they try to have more baby, and it was under the one child policy. So that girl was raised in a village, so it's more like she looks even like physically a little bit different than the others because it's just lack of nutrition and everything, I guess, love. And then in the end, but their family got wealthy and moved to Canada, and they're like three sisters, right? And even their mother was asked to change her name, trying to get lucky for superstitious reasons to
have a boy.
Yeah, they actually changed the mother's name around like the second girl was born.
They should have changed the dick which goes. Probably the chances of boy would have been higher.
I know, like, but then I realized, like, only by then I realized that a lot of female, like the mother people with their names named like certain things are meaning like they have changed their names for trying to have a boy.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a very interesting. I did not know that at all.
It's very common that there's this Di in Chinese woman's name, Di, which means brother, younger brother.
And so, I have one Mongolian friend who's in LA, and her name is literally in Mongolian, meaning like have a boy next.
You do that in Mongolian names also.
It was so funny. Like, what does your name mean? Never heard of this name. Oh, it means like have a boy next time.
That's very misogynist, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting, but misogynist.
Even my wife's family, like she and her older sister is being neglected most of the time.
Oh, so she has a brother.
Yeah, she has a little brother.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
problem.
that
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
uh,
And
oh,
even the wife got her arm injured, right? Nobody gives a shit. And so I was really pissed. So I broke her the other arm. No, I'm kidding.
Okay, just before we wrap up, this is this for I overall understanding of this conversation. Of course, this is a very broad topic. We
Hmm.
can't attempt to finish this, but we
Hmm.
can maybe go more deeper on this one child policy and its effects maybe in the next topic.
Hmm.
But just from your perspective, like Dongu's and Jacob, your perspective, what do you think is the role of like parents in modern Chinese society, like a mother's role and a father's role in modern Chinese society, according to you guys? Just before we wrap up the conversation, I want to know, like in a modern society, what roles do the mothers are required to do, like say A, B, C, D, kind of like, and then the fathers are required to do.
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah, honest. I want to know
Yeah.
what you think is happening right now and what you think should be the responsibility of say today new parents want to make baby in China, and then what should be a mother's responsibility and what should be father's responsibility.
I think it should be control their urge and not to make baby. Be responsible. Don't bother an innocent life.
No, but anyways, let's say they had a kid. They already have a kid. Let's say they adopted a kid. Forget about it.
Already. Then just take care of the kid. Like do everything that can make the kid happy now and also in the future. Maybe that's too broad, right?
Yeah, I know it's very broad.
Yeah.
That's I'm looking at.
Raise them
Politically safe. Too safe.
raise them healthy, educate them, and make them independent for themselves when they grow up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what would be the father's role in it? Like, I want
Both
to know
of them.
specific role for mother and father.
I don't know how are they different. I think they should be doing the same thing.
They should be doing the same thing. Okay, that's because
it's up to the small like family, the father and mother to decide who's good at what. But I mean, there should not be any like specific role for any gender.
Because traditionally what happens in Asian families is, the reason I'm asking this question is because I have this huge perception, and forget about my perception, but also the baggage of roles for
Yeah, but that's
mothers
the
and
reason
fathers.
of sexism, right? We should not reinforce that gender inequality.
Right.
So that's why I think it should be like equal for both of the parents. They
Alright.
they decide on their own.
All right. What do you say, Jacob?
Oh, there's what I think the Chinese parents should do and what I would do, and I will say the first. Uh, I felt the Chinese parents around me. I felt my guy friend, the fathers, usually is less worried about how their kid will achieve like
Anything like that.
from school, especially like all the friends I have with kids, they are like near 4 5 6, and their mothers are always the tiger mom, like forcing them to go to after school classes and learning everything, trying to like start early, like on life, just win and get good scores. I feel that is a bit unhealthy, right? Especially like in current situations, we know like the education system also needs some adjustment as well. But in their perspective, they have no choice. Not like me or us, we can always just jump ship and do stuff. So they are fixed to here, and they have to make their baby really good at exams. So
But you're saying that moms do that.
yeah, in my case, most of the moms are more concerned about letting the kids, study harder and, a lot of pressure.
What dads
The dads, yeah, the dads help them escape from after school classes and getting shitted on. Come and drink with us and stuff. Like, uncle tell you this. Yeah, all the bad, but in a way the kid got happy. But yeah, that's like reality. Like I feel we shouldn't pressure our kid, like give like child that much pressure early on.
Yeah,
That's too
but
much. Yeah.
do you think that they should be given complete freedom then?
No, not at all. No. The kid, like before, I agree with you. Before they get to 18 or 20, right? They're just idiots, right? That like they can kill themselves by accident.
So can you.
Yeah, but that's a conscious decision,
No,
right?
so now what do you think should be done according to you? Like, your subjective.
It's not. I feel it's not from the parents. Like we are just the echo or the shadow of this timeline. Like we like if we want to make a bigger change, it's from the education system, both for the parents and the kids. But they have to learn more. They have to think more instead of just repeating.
So you think an institutional change is required so that
Yeah,
parents can become
yeah,
better parents?
yeah. Like there should be like classes or seminars or even saloons, just people sitting together of like how to become a parent. Like parenting, it's a study case, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
They should learn how to be parents, and they should pass exam before they become parents.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that's what China should be good at, right? Oh, this is a great idea, right? I got the license of I can become a parent. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then who decides? Which authority decides what constitutes as a good parent? See, if, I think it's a great idea. Yes, it's a
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah,
idea for parents to go through this
yeah,
some kind of testing before they become parents, so that they can raise better kids. But
yeah.
who is the authority to decide that then?
Or bigger father.
See, again, at the end of the day, the patriarchal system
Yeah,
will eventually get swept into the consciousness of parenting schools. So I
Yeah.
feel that there is no. Like, I kind of agree with Chika when you say that there should be an institutional change, uh, but I think raising a kid is 10% institution and 90% personal involvement.
and instinct.
So I feel that if we can work on the 90% and expect the 10% to have both positive and negative effects,
Yeah,
then things can be better. Like one of the things which I kind of agree with Dongo personally. This again, my subjective opinion is that both mother and father should have an equal role. It could be like the mother is good at bringing in the money to the table, so then the father should be responsible for bringing emotional support to the table. If father is good at bringing money to the table, the mother should be responsible for bringing other things to the table. And it's like a joint responsibility.
yeah,
It's not like,
yeah.
oh, one person does 90% and the other person, like what your friends are doing, where
Mm,
it's nice to say that, oh, I'm going to make my kids escape from the bathroom, but they're not doing anything for the kid.
mm,
It's a very negative thing to do. Like
mm,
bringing them out and making the mother the villain
mm.
is actually not benefiting the kid at all.
Nope.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel that there is no positive reinforcement from the dad side. So he's rather bringing negative effects than bringing any positive reinforcement to the kid.
Mm,
So even though I agree with that institutional change is required, education system change is required, the way we look at parenting change is required. But I feel at the end of the day, a family is, whether it's a nuclear family or a joint family, it's a very complicated net
yeah.
uh, where each string is important. And even if one string goes off, fishes
Mm,
will fall off.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Can only provide us with like the modern tools
right.
of just all kinds of tools like mentally, physically, and stuff like tells you how to communicate or that, but how will you do with it?
Yeah.
That's still up on like the
Parents.
person itself. Yeah.
So yeah, you can have all the tools. Like you can
Yeah.
have good internet and console, but if you don't know how to play it,
Yeah. And each baby is different. Yeah. Every baby is different. They're like, uh, very introvert, very extrovert, very happy ones, and very depressed ones. Like we have to treat them like a new person instead of like
Yes, they are a new person. So
but not like I feel that Chinese families always think, oh, I
standard.
give birth to you, you have to be someone like me, and some things you have to follow my footsteps.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the same experience.
You,
Yeah, but I guess so. All
you
the
were
fathers.
born in first tier cities. Maybe it's already more liberal there.
No, no. You actually, I don't know. Your father wants you to be like him.
Maybe he does but I never heard it. So I guess it doesn't. Maybe he doesn't.
Just from the side eyes and all.
No, but he has been very particular about you should listen to him and be like him.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. This is just my observation.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So.
Anyways, this has been a very eye-opening conversation for me because I had a lot of perception about Chinese families, though it is very similar to Indian families and stuff like that. But I feel that there is this one-child policy has a huge effect, and overall, I think family structures are still as complicated as it is everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And we're just scratching the surface today. Like this topic can go on and on.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, thank you. Right, Dongo, what do you say?
Yeah. So next time we figure out some other interesting topics.
Yeah.
And next every Sunday we have our new episode. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Just want to add one more thing. I feel like the family.
Bad things in the end.
Don't worry, I edit it out. Please go ahead, Jacob.
It was on my head. The Chen Zhongshu novel Wei Cheng.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is translated. A city was around it. This is terribly, but basically it's like a bird cage. Like inside of the bird cage, you enjoy the safety of the protection and the food, and you just became like a house animal. But then outside of the cage, you will meet your freedom, yet all the danger in life. But like two birds will always envy each other. One of them, like the outside one, always want to come inside for safety, and the inside one always want to come out for the freedom. And family problems is always like that, I guess. Like
this is family, right? Right.
Yeah.